Columbia, at a high-tech facility. A voice is heard over an intercom, instructing Sentinel Prime units 6 through 9 to report for diagnostics and prepare for integration into the human population. 3 male and 1 female Prime Sentinels make their way through the facility.
We hear, Core Command, and we obey.
One of the male Prime Sentinels responds. Before their mission parameters are downloaded, the Prime Sentinel acknowledges that they are to
Investigate anomalous secondary mutations, to identify the source and eradicate the mutant gene, and have fun doing it.
He grins, and suddenly a large door opens.
A breach!
The Prime Sentinel exclaims, to which the female Prime Sentinel tells him that is
impossible, as only a Prime Sentinel may access the portal.
Yes, and as your creator, I think I fit the bill, Bastion announces as he appears and releases a blast towards the 4 Prime Sentinels, destroying them, leaving a pile of bones and cybernetics on the ground. Alex Summers, also known as HAVOK, is with Bastion, and he tells him that he is sorry Bastion had to destroy his precious little babies. No, Alex, you are not, Bastion responds. If, however, I thought you truly felt concern for my plight, I would tell you not to waste the energy. Bastion adds, explaining that these Sentinels follow protocols that conflict with his utility function. They were human once, before they were transformed into murder engines. HAVOK remarks, do you feel sympathy for them? Bastion asks as he steps onto the skull of one of the Prime Sentinels. Did I say human? I meant flat scan! HAVOK replies as he follows Bastion through the complex. Bastion and HAVOK enter some sort of lab where several Prime Sentinels are floating in stasis tanks. A computer recording reports that Core Command has been compromised, betrayed, and mobilizes all Prime Sentinel units, instructing them to repel the intruders. Sounds like you're not really welcome here any longer. HAVOK points out. Bastion tells him that this facility functions at cross purposes to his own, and that the mutant gene must survive. Do you know how strange it is to hear you say that? HAVOK asks. Of course, Bastion replies. As several Prime Sentinels rush into the lab, Bastion tells HAVOK that circumstances have changed. True, but I still get a kick out of destroying Sentinels, HAVOK replies, as he grins and unleashes a powerful wave of energy towards the approaching Prime Sentinels. Meanwhile, in London, England, at the Hellfire Club, Magneto casually makes his way through crowds of people partying in the ballroom before one of the waitstaff, carrying a tray of finger food, approaches him and tells him that they have a strict dress code. Magneto's wearing a white trench coat over casual trousers and a sweater.
Oh, of course, sir. Carry on and enjoy your evening.
The wide-eyed waiter gasps as Magneto magnetically launches the small metal picks pressed into the finger food at the waiter's face. Magneto carries on through the Hellfire Club, coming to a darkened room where he finds Sebastian Shaw, slumped over in a chair, large glass of wine in one hand. Shaw bids Magneto to come in, adding that he was half expecting the time-displaced X-Men to come looking for him. I think I might have preferred that, Shaw mumbles. His voice is slurred as he tells Magneto that he appreciates he has come to tend to him. Don't take it as a sign of respect, Shaw. The X-Men are otherwise occupied at the moment, and I grow tired of your roaming free, Magneto explains. Fair enough, Shaw replies, asking Magneto to have a drink with him for old time's sake, as he sits up in the chair and asks how they ended up on opposite sides here. Where did things go wrong? You threw in with Emma Frost, Magneto points out. So did you, Shaw replies. Not when she turned on her own kind for the sake of her revenge, Magneto tells Shaw. No, I suppose you don't like it when others try to steal your act, Shaw mutters. Oh, well, Shaw begins. As he tries to stand up, he suddenly clenches his fists and glows with energy. Let's get on with it, shall we? Magneto looks surprised. You're absorbing kinetic energy from the air around you. A secondary mutation. Shaw's entire body glows with the energy as he reveals that it is called mothervine, and that Magneto should feel blessed to see it in action, as it is going to save mutant kind. Shaw tells Magneto that he is not as smart as he thinks he is, because if he knew half as much as he led others to believe, then he would have left him alone, and with that, Shaw lunges towards Magneto. Elsewhere. Well, are we ready for some fun or what? Miss Sinister asks, as she, Emma Frost, Havok, and Bastion gather in a darkened room, a holographic projection of planet Earth spinning before them. Miss Sinister, also known as Claudine Renko, tells her associates that they are close now. That soon they will launch Mothervine. And when we do that, Emma asks, Havok tells Emma that Magneto will come around to their way of thinking. Once he sees what they're doing, he will have no other choice. He adds that, as far as any other threats are concerned, they have been working overtime to eliminate as many as possible. Bastion looks at the holographic projection of the Earth and tells the others that a 4-time increase in the mutant population is a good start. But it is just a start. He asks Miss Sinister if she has projections for additional increases to the mutant population. I'm glad you asked, Miss Sinister replies, before claiming that in less than 1 year, mutants will be the dominant species on Earth, and by a wide margin. As lights appear on the projection of Earth, look, just look at them all, Bastion exclaims. Emma telepathically asks Alex if he is certain about this, and whether he realizes Bastion only wants the mutant population to rise so he can slaughter them. Emma adds that she is certain Miss Sinister has designs to control any new mutant she helps to create. Havok looks at Emma out of the corner of her eyes, and his thoughts ask her if she's getting cold feet. We talked about this. We need Bastion's technology and Miss Sinister's science. We know the plan now, we just need to stick to it. Havok reminds Emma to tell Havok that Bastion and Miss Sinister will betray them. Of course! That's what I would do. That's what you would do, Havok replies. And that's what we're gonna do. Once the time is right. He looks at the globe, and his thoughts tell Emma that once Mothervine is up and running, they won't need Bastion or Sinister any longer. We'll take care of them, just as we'll take care of anyone else who gets in our way. London, England, the Hellfire Club, where Sebastian Shaw tells Magneto to ask himself why he stands against them, as Mothervine will give him everything he has ever wanted. Mutants will inherit the world. They will no longer be hated, no longer oppressed, no longer hunted. Magneto throws a magnetic force field around himself as Shaw uses his secondary mutation to try and break through and strike Magneto. Shaw, this power of yours, there will be a price to pay, Magneto warns. Shaw grins and tells Magneto that this is what he has fought for, unless, of course, it's only the fight that matters. Are you so consumed by your own hubris that you don't know what you'd do if you actually won? Shaw inquires. He tells Magneto not to worry, as he won't live long enough to see the ascension of mutant kind. Shaw's power knocks Magneto back through the room, blasting him out into the ballroom, where Hellfire Club patrons are enjoying themselves.
The rules?
One of the patrons exclaims.
Fighting in the club?
Another gasps.
We must leave at once.
A man exclaims.
My jacket. Where's my jacket?
A woman exclaims, asking.
Where's my bullwhip?
Man inquires. Shaw walks towards Magneto, who tries to get to his feet. Now, I absorb the energy of your magnetic waves as easily as I once absorbed a physical blow, Shaw explains. He boasts that the slightest motion, a rapidly drawn breath, the shuffling of feet, dust motes swirling in the air, is all nothing but raw kinetic energy for him to use at his whim. Cease your struggling. It serves no purpose, Eric. Shaw declares as he grabs Magneto by his throat, while cutlery is magnetically suspended in the air around them. Shaw lifts Magneto up by his neck and boasts that through Mothervine, he has been blessed, that he is stronger than ever before, adding that he is what all mutants can become. All that newly acquired power! What is the cost? Magneto asks, blood trickling from his mouth. It's you, Eric! You are my offering to Mothervine. You are my sacrifice. Shaw shouts as he knocks Magneto across the room, where he slams into a column, breaking it in two. Shaw speds over to Magneto. Enough! I've toyed with you long enough. Goodbye, Eric. Shaw calls out. Magneto raises a hand. Energy crackles. But Shaw just grits his teeth and asks, really? You're still trying to hold me back? You know, I'll only absorb your energies and turn them back against you. Shaw calls out. Shaw grins and tells Magneto that he admires his tenacity, but that it is a wasted effort. You would have been better served using these last few seconds of your life.
To make peace with God.
Sure! Exclaims, before his energy-charged hand slams into Magneto's face at full speed. Shaw holds Magneto by his sweater and tells him that if he is determined to struggle against the inevitable, why should he rush to end him? You deserve to suffer! Magneto! You deserve to suffer for how you've lied to! Shaw begins. Before he looks at his energy-charged hand, something is happening to him.
No. What is this? What is happening?
He asks. He clutches his hand and tells Magneto that he can feel it, his powers draining, absorbing kinetic energy from his own cells. Shaw's form begins to wither and look hollow as he drops to his knees. Magneto stands up and wipes his mouth. Sebastian, this is why I stand against you. These new mutations are unstable. Magneto points out, adding that, while Shaw might deserve such a fate, others do not. Shaw grabs Magneto's trench coat as Magneto tells him that he could kill him, could put him out of his misery, and he would guess Shaw would thank him with his dying breath. Magneto remarks that it might come to that, but not yet. As for now, Shaw might still prove useful to him.
Please.
Shaw gasps. Your masters. Sure. Those who hold the reins on Mothervine want to meet with them. Magneto tells the Fallen King. Off the coast of Scotland, Magneto and Shaw stand on a cliffside. A lighthouse can be seen in the distance. Magneto remarks that he comes here sometimes, on nights just like this one, to watch the lighthouse. He wonders if perhaps he is hoping for direction. That maybe the glow will guide him to safe harbor the way it has guided so many ships. Out of all my secret bases, hidden safe houses, and clandestine meeting places, this place has been my best kept secret, Magneto claims. We should be honored then, that you'd ask us to meet you here. Unless, of course, you're hoping that lighthouse of yours is gonna guide us away from our current course of action, Alex Summers remarks. No, Havok. I've been coming here for years. I can't say it's ever helped me to change my mind about anything, Magneto replies. Maybe tonight will be different, Havok suggests as he, Emma Frost, Bastion, and Miss Sinister stand on some rocks nearby. Havok tells Magneto that they don't need to be enemies. We want the same things. You and I, he adds, remarking that the time has come for the mutant race to rule over the flat scans, and that it is within their grasp. That's what Shaw tried to tell me. Now look at him, Magneto replies, as Shaw is kneeled before him, a withered mess. Magneto tells the new arrivals that Shaw is not the only mutant to suffer in such a way. He has heard reports of others. These secondary mutations of yours come at a terrible price, Magneto warns the others. Havok tells Magneto that some setbacks, some errors in judgment are going to be expected, growing pains. The end game, what we're going to accomplish, remains the same, he replies, boasting that Mothervine is so far beyond secondary mutations that it really is something amazing, and they want Magneto to be a part of it. And if I refuse? Magneto asks. Trust me, once you fully understand what we're doing, you wouldn't dare, replies Havok. Havok extends his hand and asks Magneto to join them, suggesting that he will have to put aside his differences with Emma and see past what he believes about Bastion and Miss Sinister. For the fate of our people, please stand by our side. As we ascend, Havok asks. Magneto hangs his head. He smirks, then declares, No! Pity! But not unexpected, Havok replies, before instructing Bastion to launch the first wave. Havok informs Magneto that this is how it begins, with the symbol of mankind's hatred of mutants, with sentinels sowing the seeds of ascension. Mothervine! Take him! Havok tells his allies, as he fires a plasma blast towards Magneto, who deflects it with a magnetic shield. Miss Sinister fires a blast from the diamond on her forehead, but Magneto blocks that too. Bastion launches some small sentinels into the air, which Magneto destroys with ease. I'm sorry, it has come to this, Havok, Magneto remarks. Emma switches to her diamond form as Magneto uses scrap metal from the sentinels to create a helmet, while telling Havok that he is sorry he is so far gone, so far beyond his help. I'm sorry that I must destroy you, but then again, I am not, Magneto exclaims as he encases his entire body in a metal armor, formed from the scrap of the Sentinels, then directs a powerful magnetic surge at the other mutants, knocking them back. Magneto, you stand in opposition to the mutant race. Mutants must thrive! Therefore, you must be destroyed. Bastion tells Magneto as he and Miss Sinister fire blast towards him, but he deflects them easily. More small sentinels are released, and they fly towards Magneto, who looks at them unimpressed. Tiny sentinels. How amusing, he remarks. Havok releases another plasma blast and announces that Magneto's shields are too strong. Emma! He calls out, to which Emma tells Havok that what he wants, the power levels he wants to achieve, they could burn him to ash from the inside out. Magneto breaks apart the tiny sentinels with ease and sends the shrapnel careening towards Miss Sinister, who screams as some of the shards strike her. You, Bastion! Now you wish to see mutants flourish. Let's test the depth of that conviction. Magneto tells the deadly sentinel, I would bleed for my people. I would die for them. Would you do the same? Magneto asks as he starts to tear Bastion apart from the inside out. Havok sees this and calls out to Emma. Do it! Emma rushes over to Havok's side and tells him that once this is done, assuming he survives, he will be spent and virtually defenseless. Stop him! Havok assures her. We'll stop him! Emma replies as she switches back to her human form and telepathically boosts Havok's power as he unleashes a powerful surge of energy at Magneto, knocking the monster of magnetism back through the air as Havok pushes his powers to the max. The heat of Havok's plasma surge disrupts Magneto's force field, enabling Havok to deliver another blast of energy. How does it feel? Does it feel like heat stroke? Oh man, does it feel like you're coming undone? Havok shouts angrily. Magneto falls into the ground, but prepares to get up, ready to defend himself. I've got you, Emma tells Havok as she puts a hand around him and helps him to stand. They did it! Weakened his magnetism, broke through his strongest force fields. Emma points out, suggesting they let the others do their work now. You said you would die for your beliefs, Magneto. Bastion calls out as he blasts Magneto with another energy bolt. Let's test that theory! Miss Sinister suggests, as she fires another energy beam from her forehead. They both strike Magneto, who cries out in pain. Magneto's defenses are weakening! He can't hold them off, but he tells himself that he won't die like this. He holds a green vial in his hands. Light shines from the lighthouse overhead, and suddenly, the lighthouse is ripped from the ground, and Magneto uses his powers to drop it on top of his enemies. His powers! He's enhanced them somehow. Miss Sinister calls out as she and the others are knocked aside. Havok emerges from the rubble. Clever Magneto. Played us at our game. Gave yourself just enough time to slip away. Havok remarks as he looks up and finds that Magneto has vanished. A time platform suddenly lights up with green energy as Magneto, master of magnetism, arrives in this unknown time, an unknown location. He holds a tablet which drops to the ground as a hidden voice calls out to him, Magneto. After all your messages, all your requests for our aid, it's about time you came knocking. Magneto frowns and replies, Time, my friends, you have no idea. Meanwhile, in Mexico City, civilians run in panic as other civilians have been transformed by mothervine. They're turning into monsters. It's an attack. A woman shouts, Chemical warfare. The bombs! Making them sick! A man exclaims as they run in fear. One man has been transformed into a large gray-skinned being, while another glows with blue energy, and a young man suddenly discovers his hands have become like lobster pincers.
What is happening to me? Am I a mutant?
He asks, wide-eyed. Suddenly, Magneto appears above the crowd and tells everyone to remain calm. He introduces himself and assures those transformed that they are not mutants. You should be so lucky, he adds. The man with the lobster hands looks even more confused as his human hands return, and the man glowing with blue energy suddenly finds the energy fading away. The gray-skinned man remains the same. However, what is this? How did you? The man with the blue energy begins. I did nothing. Save for calling in a few favors, Magneto responds as Exodus and Elixir appear behind him. Magneto explains that Elixir and Exodus deserve the credit for their recovery. Exodus tells Magneto to work quickly, then he will teleport them to the next impact zone. Whoa! about me? Why am I not? Myself again, the gray-skinned mutant asks. Elixir explains that he is extending his curative field for miles, but he can't cure everyone affected by the bombs and those who carried the mutant gene to begin with. He can't strip that away from them. I'm stuck like this, the gray-skinned mutant asks. Magneto clenches a fist and tells the mutant, "This is who you were always meant to be," before reminding his allies that there are many others around the world who have been infected, so they must move quickly if they are to stop mothervine. "Point the way, Magneto," Elixir replies. In their base, Havok and Bastion watch the situation in Mexico on monitors. Magneto's found a way to reverse mothervine. The bastard's gonna ruin everything, Havok declares through gritted teeth. Arms folded, Bastion adds that Magneto is using mutant-designate Elixir to heal the mothervine mutations, before stating that he is updating mission parameters in order for the mutant race to survive. Elixir must be destroyed. Havok decides that they should have dealt with Magneto more definitively. If this had been his operation, if I had stood against him, he wouldn't have left me dangling as a loose end, Havok realizes, before remarking that Miss Sinister should have some sort of contingency for dealing with something like this. He asked Bastion where Miss Sinister is, before wondering where Emma is. Right here, Havok, Emma announces as she enters the control room in her diamond form. The X-Men rush forward, taking out more Hellfire guards, and also battling Wildside and Toad. Emma! Havok calls out, surprised. Emma tells Havok that it was just a matter of time before their little cabal imploded, so she decided to strike first. We have been betrayed, Bastion points out as chains emerge from his back, with energy spears attached to them. He activates countermeasures and states that mutant kind must be saved. I grow tired of lies. Your lies and mine. Zorn responds as he releases energy that block Bastion's attack. Suddenly, Zorn's helmet begins to crumble, and energy pours outwards. This is where it ends. Bastion! For you and for me! Zorn calls out as Bastion starts to fade away, pulled into the energy emanating from Zorn. No! I was trying to save! Bastion utters. Polaris shields her eyes from the glow and warns the others that Zorn is unleashing the full power of the singularity within him, drawing Bastion in. He's focusing the power, but he'll never, Lorna starts to say, as Bastion is completely sucked into Zorn's vortex, and all of the energy vanishes. All that remains is part of Zorn's helmet, which drops to the floor. Zorn? Toad calls out, picking the remains of the helmet up. What do you think you're dealing with? Do you think I'll just let you take this moment away from me? Do you think I'll let you take it from the mutants? Havok shouts as he starts to release plasma energy in the room, knocking Dakin back, then gazing Nightshade and Jimmy. Mothervine is happening even if I have to kill every X-Man in order to see it through. Havok declares, "Stop this, Alex! This isn't you! This isn't who you're supposed to be! You know that!" Polaris calls out as she blocks Havok's plasma blasts with a surge of magnetic energy. Polaris warns Havok that if she can't get through to him, make him see that, then perhaps she knows someone who can. Emma steps forward and Havok screams as she enters his mind, bringing Polaris in as well. Havok stands up. He begins as he looks around. You're back, Alex. I know how it feels. You were gone, buried under that other personality, trying to claw your way out, Lorna explains. But Havok tells her that is not how it feels. Not for him. He admits that he knows that the things he was doing were wrong. But the other him, that's what he feels now. He feels him, screaming to get out. I feel like maybe I've stolen his life from him. Like, maybe I'm just the facade, and he's the truth just waiting underneath. Later, in the secret base, Elixir stands before hundreds of vials of mothervine and announces that the serum, the virus, is dying at the source. As he heals, he can destroy it too. The source? Jimmy asks. That's right, Jimmy. I've purged it from your system too. Mothervine is destroyed, Elixir explains. Havok approaches Polaris and tells her that there are so many people who need her help that she didn't need to come here to make sure Mothervine was shut down. He would have burned it to the ground. Elixir's not just here for Mothervine, Alex, Lorna replies. Havok begins to ask her what she means, and Lorna tells him that it is a fresh start. Havok removes his mask. His handsome face has been restored. The scars. They're like my evil self. I know they're gone, but I can still feel them. Elsewhere, Magneto is using his powers on a piece of equipment. The civilians begin to gather around. Eric, can I have a word? A voice calls out. He turns and sees a civilian speaking to him. I was hoping we could come to an understanding. Another civilian speaks, that we could put this ugliness behind us. Then another. I know you've been coming after me for some time. And a fourth. But I hope that you can recognize when someone extends the olive branch. All of the civilians have a blank gaze, and Emma Frost appears amongst them. I helped you. I helped to save the X-Men. One of the civilians speaks. I helped stop mothervine. Another adds. Magneto turns away. Emma. You also put me in a position to harm mutants who were in my care. To kill them. For that, there could be no peace between us. Trust me, I'm coming for you. Magneto snarls.